Hey everybody, it's Mo Money the Barber. I'm gonna show you how to do a self-cut temp fade. First step, you want to brush your hair and clean your tools. You don't want to go against the grain on a wave cut. So we're gonna go take this 1.5 with the grain. And you want to make sure that you start around your hair swirl, wherever that may be. Mine is in the top of my head. As you can see, I'm pointing to it. And I want to cut out from that. And we're gonna do this all the way around. Make sure you cut it evenly. That way there are no patches. Now, I don't think that there is a possibility that you can go over it too much, but there is such thing as just enough. Now before I go into my one guard, I'm actually gonna take the 0 all the way up, the open 0, and I'm gonna call that a half. And then I'm going to take the closed 0, and then I'm going to go in the middle to take out that closed line, the closed 0 line. Now with my one guard, I'm going to open it all the way, open the lever all the way, and then I'm going to close it all the way. And as you can see, I'm doing some fading techniques using the bottom corner. And at this point, I'm bridging the gap between the 0 and the 1, or the half and the 1, by holding my clippers at a diagonal and flicking out at that line. Now take my one guard and clean up that little bit of area. Now I'm going in with my 1.5, and I'm going all the way open with the lever all the way open. Now close it all the way. Now sometimes you can even get away with not even fading out the middle part. You just do it from open to close, just depending on how well you flick it out. But every movement in a fade, you're flicking out. And we're gonna just go and do that, repeat these steps wherever we feel like we need to until we get a smooth transition all the way through. Now just to show you guys, I ended up edging myself on this side just so that you can see it come together. But you can do it in this order if you feel like it. I usually don't. It's not as good on time. So when I'm doing the front, I always start in the middle, work my way out on my treble side, and then I go in and even it out with the other side. For this video though, as you can see, I'm just doing this side so that everyone can see. I'm doing all this side first. Then we'll go to the other side. Now it might take you a couple of minutes to get this step right. You want to make sure that both sides are even and straight. Now when I blow my cheeks out, that's because I'm stretching my skin around that area, and it makes it a little bit easier to cut. in doing the mustache, you always want to remember to do it evenly above the lip all the way around. This process might take you a couple minutes. However long it takes you, just do it until it looks right. For this, for my trimmers, I'm using the Wall Retro T-Cuts. They're definitely one of my favorites. If you haven't tried them yet, go ahead and get you a pair. Test them out for yourself. See how much you like them. You can be the judge. Now you always want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on your edge line. That way, a couple days, maybe the next day down the line, you don't have to worry about a big scab being on your forehead. Because these tools do what they're supposed to do. They will cut. And now we're starting the fade for the backside. We're pretty much going to repeat the same steps I did on the side. We're going to do the zero all the way open and then meet it closed. And then we're going to bridge that gap from the closed zero to the open zero, or the half. Now you can hold the clipper at a diagonal to help generate that fade, or you can just go in and flick it out. They both work. Now I'm going in with my open one about an inch, more or less, above that half line. And after that, I go in with the closed one, and then I meet it in the middle to take that closed line out. As you can see, I still have a weight line in between my half and my one. And I'm going to get that line out by holding my clippers diagonal and flicking out my wrist at that spot. I really like these Wall 5-star Legends. They cut really good. They're a little heavier than the normal Wall clippers, but you know, they have so much more power. You can feel the power. So right here, I'm taking the open zero or the half, and I'm going with the grain to take away some of the bulk that I just created with that open one. As you can see, it takes a lot of the weight off. Makes that fade transition a little bit smoother. And you can do this as far up as you feel comfortable, as long as you're smoothing out the fade and not going into the fade. Kind of want to freehand it a little bit. I like to start at the top, that way I don't go in too far. Go ahead and bald out that temp fade, bald spot. Now, when you're looking in the mirror, trying to get symmetry in your mustache, your goatee, your chin strap, or your hairline, so make sure that you look straight ahead into the mirror and you go ahead and get that symmetry. I'm gonna take the half right there and the zero closed, and then in the middle to get that zero line out. Hit that one all the way open, right above that, about an inch more or less. Then we're gonna go in with the one closed at an angle or whatever. Now right now we're going into the 1.5 open. We're gonna go in it closed. These are the same steps. If you've realized it, these are the same steps I use on all my fades. You can mix it up if you want. We learn in barber school that you fade down, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to go ahead and do the 1.5 open to start off with, all the way down to the zero. But I'll leave that up to you guys. Now you want to make sure that the corners of your hairline match up with both sides. Step back, take another look, take a picture with your phone, because usually the second look you can pick out and point out errors that you've done, and you'll be able to fix them. So I'm starting off at the top, going down, following it down. Now this technique that I'm using to hold my ear out of the way is very useful. You got to be used to using your other fingers while you hold your hand steady, and you know, get that angle that you need. You have to drop the mirror from time to time. As long as you can see stuff from the front, especially over the ears, holding the mirror isn't always the thing to do. Now try not to, when you're doing the bottom line of your chin strap, if you have one, don't come up too high with that bottom line on that jawline. It doesn't look right. Now, if you're doing eyebrows, I always like to brush them up first so you can get all the hairs to stick out, and then take the edger, take the trimmer, and cut off those hairs that are sticking out. You don't want to create a new brow for your client, especially if it's a man. Now, at the bottom of the brow, you want to make sure you give it a good shape without going in too much. I don't know too many men that want their eyebrows arched. They want them done, but not arched. Now, touch up work, you can always go back over your work with the trimmer to make those lines cleaner, to take some of those stubbles off a little bit lower, to give your shaver, an easier time. Now, you want to make sure that the fades on both sides are even, not just the hairline, but also the fades. like using Dorco razors. They work very fine for me, just fine. Now you always want to make sure that you stretch the skin, whether it's by your ear, your temple, your forehead, just pretty much wherever you're going to be putting that razor. It's very important that you stretch the skin. It's a lot less of a chance to cut someone or yourself. Now I like using the reverse backhand or the reverse freehand on myself. Definitely makes things a little bit easier once you get into the groove of it. You want to make sure you get all the little peach fuzz hairs around so that it makes the whatever you're edging up stand out a little bit more. I'm holding my mouth like that because it's also stretching the skin. So if you see me blowing out my cheeks or stretching my lip like that, that's only because I'm trying to stretch my skin. I don't want to cut myself. Touch-up work for me is just as important as the whole cut. If you like my video, you think it's helpful, drop a comment, share it. Um, Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you found something useful from this video.